Almost every story basically follows the plot diagram. The beginning starts with establishing a base with the exposition and identifying conflict. It's then followed by a rising action which continues into the climax, and is concluded at the end by the falling action and resolution. Now, the plot of this video will be centered around the middle second half of the diagram, aka the climax, meaning the title of said video should actually be The Art of the Climax. But I think you can infer as to why I went in a different direction there. So yeah, anyways, Demon Slayer. That anime is the topic of discussion, and today I wanted to talk about how and why, after 4 seasons and 2 movies, they have still remained the gold standard for what a finale/climax should be. Regardless of your personal feelings about this franchise, it is undeniable at this period in its juncture, it is a phenomenon, the likes of which the shonen world and anime in general has never seen before. As of October 2025, Infinity Castle has now become the highest-grossing international movie ever in the US. Additionally, with an ever-increasing box office, it's claimed the title of the highest-grossing anime movie of all time, beating out the previous owner of the #1 spot, which also just so happened to be Demon Slayer. You know you're doing something right when you're at the top, and the only competition is yourself. Moreover, I believe that while these obvious contributing factors have led to its success, like timing, studio, characters, music, etc., the actual thing that separates Demon Slayer from its contemporaries is its ability to consistently follow up their rising action with a climax you just can't help but tune in for. Think about it. After Season 1 aired, what dominated the conversation about it online? I'll answer. It was episode 19 where Tanjiro tapped into Hinokami Kagura for the first time and battled it out against Rui, while the brilliant Kamado Tanjiro no Yuta composed by Go Shina unleashed in the background. No other event that happened in that season even came close to taking up as much space in the dialogue. Zenitsu versus the Spider Demon was kind of up there, but it held a very solid and uncontested second place. What's also something of note is that episode 19 doesn't even house the best animation of that season. I would say that honor goes to an event that happened 10 episodes prior, where Tanjiro defeated the Arrow Demon, so if the finale doesn't contain the best moving pictures, to me that simply speaks to the overall quality of the crafted scenes. The pieces came together in a way, in spite of a visual downgrade, it's still fantastic and the most memorable thing from Season 1. From that moment on, though, the words visual downgrade can never again be tied to the subsequent movies and seasons. I genuinely believe that a higher-up at Ufotable looked at the response to Season 1 and decided that going forward, no matter what type of content they make for Demon Slayer, nailing the finale/climax is what's most important. And not to jump around here, but that's why even in the seasons following that aren't universally beloved, like the Swordsmith Village arc and the Hashira training arc, there is an immense and very noticeable spike in viewership when the climax rears its head. If I'm not mistaken, there wasn't a single episode of Season 3 that came close to that now infamous term of quote-unquote breaking the internet, until the glorious episode 11 came around and the overwhelming influx of fans wanting to watch the episode crashed Crunchyroll. Again, just to reiterate, not a single episode of the season had done this before, but thanks to the reputation the series had gained from the ending of Mugen Train and especially the Entertainment District arc, which was so beloved by the way that whenever engagement farming accounts on Twitter post the fight between Tengen and Gyatoro, it always blows up. And just so there's no confusion here, I don't hold anything against those accounts, because when that fight is posted, who do you think is one of the people that's like it? Guilty as charged, Your Honor. It is a perfect synchronization of flash cuts, music, and most of all, voice acting. Every person in the booth that recorded those lines for that fight let loose everything they had in there. Natsuki Hanae specifically blew my mind. To get back on track here though, fans tuned in to episode 11 of Season 3 and their curiosity was handsomely rewarded, because they were met with a finale that attacked and conquered everything it attempted with expertise. And personally, even though there are, at least from a technical perspective, finales that surpass this one, for me, seeing and hearing the struggle from Tanjiro as he is forced to make an impossible choice of either giving up his dream or abandoning his character was gut-wrenching. And then, as the scene unfolds, we see Nezuko understand what needs to be done, and by sacrificing herself, she frees Tanjiro from his burden, allowing him to take the necessary actions. The piano begins, chills rise up the spine as our hero presses forward more determined than ever to end this fight. He leaps into combat, landing 2 strikes that finally reveal Han Tengu's main body, and then follows those up with an over-the-shoulder slash, which houses a sound effect so intense it sounds like a dragon has entered the scene. The backstory insert would most likely be a pain point for some with this episode. However, I think that while it does unfortunately interrupt the action at play, I do actually like how the message derived from Han Tengu's backstory is just, hey, you're gonna get rocked one day and you're only gonna have yourself to blame, which was a nice change of pace from what had been delivered before. And as we cut back, the demon is dispatched with an incredible final blow, and Nezuko is revealed to still be alive and can now walk in the sun, and has her speech back too. It's a finale that's filled to the brim with emotion, but that's quite enough time spent gushing about Season 3 because it's time to talk about Season 4. A visually impressive finale for sure. Guillaume shows off a bit, Muzan does his whole aura walk thing, but the job of this particular finale differs from any that came before, while simultaneously doing exactly what those previous finales also did. And what I mean by that is it shocked us. At the center of all of these moments, spanning from Season 1 to the first Infinity Castle movie, is a drastic turn that leaves the audience at a loss for words. For the first season, it was the Hinokami Kagura mixed with Nezuko's art, and Kamado Tanjiro no Uta playing in the background. Or Yuta, I don't know. In Mugen Train, we built up this relationship with Rengoku throughout the movie, and in the end, he gave up his life in a spectacular fashion to stall Akaza. After that, we move on to Season 2, where Tengen becomes permanently disfigured and Tanjiro awakens his mark. For Season 3, Nezuko sacrifices herself, but actually psych, she's a 1 in a million that can survive the sun. And then, in the final season, the Demon Slayers are brought to Infinity Castle. Speaking of, there we are given Akaza's entire incredible character. Each one of these finales has not only been a visual feast for the eyes that supersedes its previous attempt, but in conjunction, each one also delivers a twist that genuinely shocks its audience. Whether that be from an action perspective, or from a story perspective, or both. But anyway, with all that said, I believe the point has been driven home. Demon Slayer's climaxes / finales have always been and will continue to be something that the fandom can count on. And now that that's said, it's time to end the video. So thank you all very much for watching. I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe with the notifications on, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody!